2 years. 2 years of business trips, late calls, and vague excuses. 2 years of a life lived parallel to hers. Tonight, we unlock the door to the other family. Welcome to Voices Unlocked. I'm Alex, and today my guest, Sarah, shares the meticulously documented story of her husband's deception. Sarah, thank you for finding the courage to be here.
Thank you for having me, Alex. It wasn't an easy decision to share this, but I feel like it's a story that needs to be told.
Your story is about uncovering a hidden life, a double life that spanned years. Can you tell us where things started to feel profoundly off? Not just a little weird, but genuinely alarming.
It wasn't a big explosion, it was a slow drip that poisoned everything. Mark, my husband, started having these frequent, non negotiable business trips, always on weekends. Then the phone calls, he'd practically run out of the house to take them, always whispering. He became expert at being vague. He was a different man, distant, yet overly affectionate sometimes, like he was compensating.
The classic signs, but often rationalized away. What was the one moment of undeniable certainty? The moment you absolutely knew you had to investigate further?
It was the credit card statement. A receipt for a small, unique jewelry store in a city he definitely wasn't supposed to be in. I asked him about it. He gave a flimsy excuse about a client gift. But the name on the receipt, it was Mindy's Gift Shop. And then I checked the transaction date against our family calendar. He was supposed to be home that day. That discrepancy, that was the crack in the dam.
So you had the instinct, the proof of a lie, and the name Mindy's Gift Shop. What led you to take the profound step of hiring a private investigator?
I couldn't live with the doubt, Alex. Not one more day. I needed facts, not just my shaking gut feeling. I needed a professional to confirm what I was terrified to know. And the facts. When the report arrived, it gave me 2 years of a completely separate life. A house, another woman named Mindy, and a child, a boy.
Sarah, there must have been moments, weeks, even months where you questioned everything about your shared past. Did you look back and see holes in your own memory? Moments you misunderstood?
Absolutely. The worst part wasn't the other woman. It was the retrospective doubt. I kept reliving every major life event: our wedding, buying our house, my father's funeral, and questioning if he was truly present or if half of his mind was with Mindy. It felt like my entire history had been rewritten by a liar. That destroyed my sense of reality.
You mentioned losing your innocence about marriage, but what about the physical space, your home? Did it feel different, haunted by the presence of his secrets even after he left?
It felt tainted. The silence was deafening. Every corner of the house became a reminder of a performance. I had to repaint the bedroom. I literally changed the locks and installed a new digital code, not just for security, but symbolically. I needed a physical act to declare, this space is mine again, and it is cleansed.
Dealing with betrayal is one thing, but dealing with the social fallout, the friends, the in-laws, the gossip, is another challenge entirely. How did you manage that public narrative?
It was exhausting. Some friends vanished because they were his friends. Others stayed but offered terrible advice like, you should have seen it coming, or men will be men. I had to cut people out who couldn't offer unconditional support. I realized that my loyalty was only to myself and the truth, not to protecting his reputation or the comfort of others.
When you finally looked at yourself in the mirror, how did you reconcile the person who was blissfully married with the person who was now a single woman in the middle of a complex divorce?
It was a painful rebirth. The old Sarah was trusting, maybe naive. The new Sarah is cautious, yes, but also incredibly self reliant. I learned that my self worth isn't tied to a wedding ring or to someone else's honesty. It took a lot of therapy, but I started dating myself again, doing things I loved that Mark always dismissed.
This is the core of your story. How did this experience fundamentally change your day-to-day life?
It changed everything. I became more cautious, more suspicious. I stopped opening up fully. I questioned myself, constantly wondering if I missed the signs. I realized that some betrayals change you forever. I lost my innocence about marriage, but I gained an iron spine.
Let's talk about moving forward. What was the divorce process like legally and financially, dealing with the complexity of his dual life?
Complicated and messy. We had to untangle his finances very carefully because he had been funneling money. Legally, Mindy and the child had no claim on our marital assets, but the emotional cost of that courtroom battle was enormous. My lawyer was an absolute lifeline. I couldn't have done it alone.
For those listening right now who may be in that slow drip of doubt, what is the one piece of advice you, the survivor, would give the person you were before finding the receipt?
Trust your gut. That small, persistent voice telling you something is wrong, listen to it. Don't rationalize away the red flags just because the truth is too painful to face. The truth, no matter how brutal, is always better than living a comfortable lie.
Sarah, thank you for sharing such a painful yet ultimately empowering story of survival. We appreciate your honesty.
Thank you, Alex. I truly hope it helps someone feel less alone.
You've been listening to Voices Unlocked. Join us next week when we discuss how social media affects modern day infidelity.